John Ponick with Mohave Valley Daily News. This is the Daily Dose for Thursday, January 7th. Our Daily Dose is brought to you by the Tri-State Radiology Center in Fort Mohave, Arizona. Tri-State Radiology Center offers an open MRI, digital x-rays, professional and friendly staff with years of medical experience, and commitment to quality for all patients. Tri-State Radiology Center offers some of the lowest self-pay options in the area, and they accept most insurances. At Tri-State Radiology Center, your image means the world to us. All right, well, very difficult day yesterday. It's reflected in today's newspaper. Our top story, remember this day forever. We have two side-by-side stories. The first one is order restored after Capitol breach. Congress resumes electoral process. So, I would hope that most of you saw what happened yesterday. Over the past couple of weeks, President Trump has been talking about how it was going to be a wild January 6th. He had asked his supporters to come and help protest. They came down in mass, thousands, to protest at a rally early in the day. He had suggested that they all head over to the Capitol building to protest, and that he actually said that he would be with them, although he ended up not going. And at some point, they decided to breach the Capitol building. It was in the middle of the Senate's the Congresses, both houses of the Senate. Confirmation hearing on the electoral, not a hearing, it was more of a procedural thing on the electoral votes. It was in the middle of coincidentally, the dispute on the Arizona votes, and they were having their hearings and arguments on that. When they stopped it in the middle of it because of breach. I mean, we've all seen the pictures. One person was shot, a woman. She passed away later at the hospital, shot in the stomach. 3 other people suffered some sort of medical emergency and died. They found pipe bombs, one on the Capitol grounds, one I guess at the RNC headquarters. They found a bag of Molotov cocktails. Just a horrendous day. Of course, one side is saying that Trump incited this. The other side is saying that no, it's just a bunch of patriots going and doing what they thought was right. Although, that question of whether or not violence is ever right. But the other side of the story is Arizona legislators condemn violence. It's basically our state legislators, the House Majority Leader, or the House Speaker, Rusty Bowers, and the Majority Leader, Ben Toma, along with some other people, just expressing their displeasure and how this is just not the right thing to do. I don't think this is the end of this story. We'll see over the next couple of days what happens. We're 2 weeks away from the inauguration. I don't know that there's a whole lot that could be done between now and then, but we'll see. Change at Supervisor meeting. This is an interesting story. Those of you that ever watch the city council meetings, you know all about our friend Scotty McClure. Scotty is a very vocal member of our community. He now has taken to going up to the supervisors meetings, the board of supervisors meetings. So the story is basically how they've made some changes, moving the call to the public to the end of the meeting rather than having it early in the meeting. Supervisor Buster Johnson is now the chair, and he wanted that to be done towards the end so that the people there that are actually there to do business can get those things addressed first and be on their way. Some of those Board of Supervisors meetings get a little lengthy, so I think that's probably a good idea. They also put up some barricades to the movie style barricades covering the front so you can't get too close to them. There's some worry about security. I think after what we saw yesterday at the Capitol, probably not a bad idea. When we get back to the Capitol breach story again, one of the things that is being spoken about a lot is the lack of security there. This is the People's House is what it's nicknamed, and there wasn't enough security there. So I'm sure that's something that will be addressed here as well. That there just wasn't enough security to protect all the dignitaries that were inside the building. County reports 12 more deaths. Of those 12 deaths, I think it was 5 of them. Yeah, 5 were from Bullhead City, 2 in their 70s and 3 in their 80s. It's just a whole story about where the numbers are at, how they keep climbing. But at one part of it, Mohave County Commission Communications Director Roger Galloway put out a request for volunteers to assist with upcoming vaccination efforts. So they're looking for anybody who can assist with medical screening or are medically certified to provide routine vaccinations. RNs, doctors, EMTs, paramedics, all that. They're looking for people to come in and help. If you are interested in volunteering or you just need more information, you can contact Kyle Fraser by calling 928-718-4909, or you can email him at Kyle, K-Y-L-E, .Fraser, F-R-A-S-E-R, at mohavecounty.us. So we're going to need that to continue on with the vaccinations. Bullhead City woman indicted on manslaughter charge. This is Sierra Rosemarie Freeman, 37. She is the person who allegedly hit 84-year-old pedestrian Charles James Kickless Sr. back in November of 2019 up on Highway 68. He was crossing the road in with his walker and got hit, struck, and killed. When they tested her, she had amphetamines, methamphetamines, and THC in her system. So she's been indicted on manslaughter. Just below that is the trial set for Bullhead City man Jacob Shields. He had a bunch of drug charges with him, along with 3 counts of aggravated assault per domestic violence and 2 counts of misconduct with a weapon. So the trials, he's 2 separate trials, one for all of his drug charges, one for his domestic violence charges, assault. So they were set for March 15th on one and April 13th for another. Part of the repercussions for the Capitol incident yesterday was President Trump was banned from Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. It was a short term. I think a lot of us have been put in Twitter jail and Facebook jail and all that. So he got a 12-hour suspension on Twitter and a 24 on Facebook and Instagram. So give you a chance to cool off a little bit. And then President-elect Biden named Merrick Garland as his next Attorney General. Remember, Merrick Garland was the one that a couple years ago was put up to be a 4 years ago, was put up to be a judge. And what happened was he ended up not, his nomination expired when President Trump took over, and so he was not approved. In sports, sorry I blocked the camera here. We got a couple pictures here from Mohave High School. First, we have the Mohave High School boys basketball team, a nice preview story on who's returning and what they got going on, along with their picture. And then underneath that, we have the Mohave High School girls varsity soccer team practicing and getting ready for their stuff. Mohave High School, River Valley High School, as well as right now the Laughlin and Needles High Schools are all expected to start competing in January. So we're hoping that they've been practicing for a while. They should have all the bugs worked out. So we're hoping that moves forward. Weather-wise, It's supposed to be sunny today, but we're still gonna have that W in the area. That's supposed to ease up a little bit tomorrow. Jeff looking outside, not a leaf moving, but
Not yet.
I know that these guys are always accurate, so we'll see what happens. While I was reading the weather, I saw right next to it today's history, January 7th, 1789, America held its first presidential election as voters chose electors who, a month later, selected George Washington to be the nation's first chief executive. So, a little bit of history for you today.
Some good history.
All right. We got any questions over there, Jeff? Any questions or comments from our Facebook people?
Just a couple on the protesting, but
Okay.
yeah, we'll
Nothing-
pass on those.
Nothing we need to address, all right. All right, thank you everyone for joining us. The Daily Dose has been brought to you by the Tri-State Radiology Center. Tri-State Radiology Center offers same or next day appointments, and they accept most insurances including Medi-Cal. They have a wide open MRI and offer digital x-rays with your reports ready in 24 hours. Call today for an appointment at 928-460-7226. Just a reminder, our Daily Dose, Valley Voices, our Athlete of the Month, our Educator of the Month, our Athlete of the Week, all of our videos are available on our YouTube site. They're also available to stream on several streaming podcast kind of things. We got the Apple Anchor app, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. We got a bunch of them. You can go to our YouTube page, and on the description under the video, it'll have all those streaming services on there. You can go into there. So it's been a rough 24 hours. I hope that everybody has a great day. It's almost Friday. It's almost the weekend. And so thanks for joining us, and I hope to see you tomorrow.